everyone, my name is Luciana Rianti. I'm from English Education Study Program 6th semester and I want to start with a question. A real question asked by a real student in a real classroom. Pakai bahasa apa, Miss? Which is language should we use, Miss? The one sentence is the entire heart of this research. So, as the slide says, language classroom are not natural territories in Indonesia as SMK. Students are dealing with three things at once: preparing for their careers, having limited English exposure, and the psychological pressure of speaking a foreign language. That's what I call an ideological double bid. And this research tries to answer three questions. First, what does the question reveal about how students think about language authority? Second, does the teacher respond, reinforce, or challenge the idea that English is a prestige language? And third, how do Fandich and Faircloth CDR framework help us read all of this? To answer this question, I use four theoretical lens. Critical discourse analysis (CDA), which tells us that language always carries powers and social structure inside it. Fundy gives us three levels of analysis: the text itself, the mental behind it, and the broader social context. A fair code moved from tech, discourse practice, social practice. He instructed in how power works in a behind language and translanguaging theory combined with Krashen affective filter, and because pakai bahasa apa, Miss, might not just a big question about language. It might be a student managing anxiety, asking permission before they dare to speak. The data is from 170 minutes English lesson at SMK 2 PGRI Bandar Lampung, 12 students, and a structure observation report covering 30 indicators. Every utterance was coded teacher talk procedural, teacher talk, education, student classification request, coded switching, and the most important, language negotiation. Those exact moments when language choice was being worked out live in the classroom. First step, segmentation, interaction, pattern mapping, and Sharia interpretation. Now, the finding first. At the next level, the entire lesson is framed in economic language. Advertisement, job vacancy, promote, product. English in this classroom is not about communication, it's about capital. At the cognitive level, students share one mental models. English is something internally authorized. You don't just use it, you need permission first. Why? Because Indonesian policy literally calls English a bahasa asing, a foreign language. A designed period subject using a without permission feels like a risk. And the context makes this stronger. SMK or vocational school jobs when the teacher said at times, ini nilai terakhir ya. The stakes becoming very real. And the teachers respond, ayo kamu pakai bahasa Inggris, warm, encouraging, but also normatively reinforcing. It answers the question without ever questioning why the student needed to ask. Faircloth gave a different angle 3 dimension. At the next level, English and Indonesia are doing different jobs. English career knowledge, prestige, evaluation. Indonesia handles the relational moments, the human side of the classroom. At the discursive practice level, the classroom is a generic hybrid EFL norms mixed with asynclic vocational norms. It creates safety but it also makes the hierarchy feel normal, comfortable, natural. That's what Fitcode calls conversationalization. And that leads to the deepest level, power in discourse. The teacher controls topic, text, turn, and evaluation. Power behind discourse. The incontinent assumption the English needs permission, while Indonesia simply doesn't. That asymmetry, that linguistic hegemony. So, what the conclusion? Pakai bahasa apa, Miss? It's not a simple clarification request. It's a site of ideological reproduction. Every time a student asks it, and every time a teacher answers it, a belief system about language, power, and identity gets reinforced. I am Ruzana Rianti, and thank you.